Stars and the solar system. Try to see a clear night sky. The objects which do not twinkle are called planets. The moon is the brightest object in the night sky. One can also see some planets and their moon, either with naked eyes or with the help of a telescope. What distinguishes them from stars is that the stars produce their own heat and light. Planets and moons shine by reflecting the light of a star such as the sun. The objects, such as the stars, the planets, the moon, and many other objects that we see in the sky are called celestial objects or heavenly bodies. The universe, the huge space which contains everything that exists, is called universe. Every heavenly body that we see in the night sky is part of the universe. The study of celestial objects and associated phenomena is called astronomy. In ancient India, our ancestors performed methodical observations of sky. Their knowledge of astronomy was highly advanced for their time. The passage of the sun, stars, moon, and planets in the sky helped them to devise calendars and almanacs, an annual calendar containing important dates and statistical information such as astronomical data and tide tables. These were often used by people in their day-to-day conduct and a better understanding of climate and rainfall patterns for timely sowing and choice of crops, fixing the dates of seasons and festivals. According to scientists, that till about 15 billion years ago, there was no universe. All matter of the universe lay compressed at a point. Then, a massive explosion called the Big Bang caused matter to spread out in all directions at very high speed. Thus, the universe was born with the Big Bang. Initially, the universe was a very hot place. It cooled gradually, and after about 1 billion years ago, the first stars were formed. The solar system was formed some 4.5 billion years ago. In the early days, clouds of hot gases and particles revolved around the sun. Over time, the particles got pulled together by the force of gravitation and formed large lumps of matter. These pulled in still more particles. These lumps of matter finally became the planets and their moons. Stars. Stars are luminous celestial bodies we regularly see in the night sky. They give out their own light and are made of mainly hydrogen. The temperature at the center of a star ranges from 2 to 5 million degrees Celsius. This high temperature results in melting and combining of hydrogen atoms to form a heavier gas called helium. During this process, the huge amount of heat and light energy is released. This makes stars emit light. The Sun is the nearest star from us. It is at a distance of about 150 million kilometers from us. The next nearest star from us is Alpha Centauri. This is about 40 trillion kilometers from us. Formation of stars. The hydrogen and helium gases are found in certain regions in the universe. Sometimes an event such as a huge explosion compresses these gases together to form a cloud-like structure called nebula. As the gases in the nebula get compressed into a ball, they become extremely hot. After thousands of years, the gases at the center of the ball become so hot that hydrogen atoms fuse together to form helium atoms. This reaction is called nuclear fusion. A star forms once this reaction starts. The large amount of energy released during nuclear fusion is the source of heat and light of a star. Thus, a star is like a huge furnace in which hydrogen is used as the fuel. Measurement of distances in the universe. Astronomers have built up certain measuring methods to get an idea of distance of heavenly bodies. Light year. A light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. Distances of stars are usually expressed in terms of light years. The sunlight takes about 8 minutes to travel from the sun to the earth. This implies that the sun is at a distance of 8 light minutes from us. Alpha Centauri is 4.3 light years away from us. Astronomical unit. The distance between the sun and the earth is called 1 astronomical unit. This unit of distance makes it easy to express the distance of different planets from the Sun. Galaxies. A galaxy is a group of stars and other celestial bodies all held together by gravity. The word galaxy is coined from a Greek word galaxias. The universe has a large number of galaxies, and each of these carries millions of stars which are bounded by a unique force known as gravitational force. Galaxies are not fixed at their positions. They move away from each other at very high speeds. There are approximately 70,000 million stars in the universe. The distribution of stars in a galaxy can give it different shapes and types. The solar system where our Earth exists is in Milky Way galaxy. All the stars of the galaxy, including the Sun, rotate about the center of the galaxy. Galaxies differ from each other in shape, size, color, and composition. Constellations. A group of stars which resembles certain shape is called constellation. There are as many as 88 constellations. Human beings have an innate ability to recognize shapes and faces even in formless things like clouds, smoke, etc. This ability of human beings has given rise to various constellations. Different constellations may have different names. Some well-known constellations are Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Cassiopeia, Orion, Scorpius, etc. Ursa Major. The Ursa Major is also called too as the Big Dipper, the Great Bear, or the Saptarshi in India. It consists of 7 prominent stars placed in the form of a dipper or in the shape of a bear. It can be seen even on moonlit nights. If we join the 7 stars with imaginary lines, the shape obtained looks like a big ladle or a question mark. These are 3 stars in the handle of the ladle and 4 in its bowl. It is an imaginary line joins the 2 stars at the edge of the ladle. It will point to the North Star. Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor or Little Bear is a group of 7 bright stars similar to the Ursa Major. The pole star is a part of this constellation. Cassiopeia. The Cassiopeia is another constellation which can be located in the northern sky. It is visible during winter in the early part of the night. It looks like a distorted letter M or W. It has clusters of stars like Ursa Major. It can also be seen even on moonlit nights. Orion. Orion is shaped in the form of a hunter and hence is also called the hunter. The 3 middle stars represent the belt of the hunter. These stars lead to a brighter star in the sky called Sirius. The Sirius appears bright because of its luminosity. Scorpius. The Scorpius contains 7 bright stars and has the shape of the scorpion. It can be seen during the summer season. The solar system. The Sun and the celestial bodies that revolve around it form the solar system. It comprises the objects like planets, their moons, comets, asteroids, meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites. These objects are held together in the solar system due to Sun's gravitational pull. The Sun is a major source of heat and light for all the planets in the solar system. The planets. A planet is a large round object in space that moves around a star. The planets reflect sunlight that is incident to them. They have no light of their own, so they do not twinkle like the stars. The planets revolve around the Sun on a fixed path called orbit. The time taken by a planet to complete 1 full revolution around the Sun is called its period of revolution. The time taken by a planet to rotate on its axis is called its period of rotation. There are 8 planets in the solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Among these planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are nearer to the Sun than other planets. They are called inner planets. They have very few satellites or moon. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are known as the outer planets. They are very far from the Sun. They have many satellites or moons. The Sun. The Sun is the center of the solar system. It is a huge store of heat and light energy. The Sun is mainly composed of hydrogen gas. The hydrogen gas in the Sun keeps on changing to helium gas, and this process releases huge amount of energy. This is like thousands of atom bombs working together. Mercury. This is the smallest planet in the solar system and is nearest to the Sun. It is at a distance of 0.4 AU from the Sun. This is so close to the Sun that it cannot be seen without a powerful telescope. Venus. Venus is at a distance of 0.7 AU from the Sun. This planet is almost of the same size as the Earth. Venus is the hottest planet on the Earth. After Moon, this is the brightest object in the night sky. Venus is visible in early evening during the summer months and in early morning during winters. Due to this, Venus is also called the morning and evening star. Earth is the only planet on which life exists. It takes 365.25 days for the Earth to complete one revolution around the Sun. It takes 24 hours to complete one rotation about its axis. The tilt of the Earth's axis is responsible for the change of seasons on the Earth. There is a thin blanket of air surrounding the Earth called atmosphere. The right temperature range, the presence of water, and suitable atmosphere and a blanket of ozone supports life on Earth. Earth has only one natural satellite, that is, our Moon. Mars. Mars is at a distance of 1.5 AU from the Sun. Mars appears red because of presence of iron oxide on its surface. Hence, it is also known as the red planet. The red planet Mars has two moons, Phoebus and Deimos. The soil of Mars contains large amounts of iron oxide, which gives the reddish appearance to the planet. Mars completes one revolution around the Sun in about 687 days. Jupiter. Jupiter is at a distance of 5.2 AU from the Sun. This is the largest planet in the solar system. Jupiter is 1300 times the size of the Earth, but because of its lower density, it is just 388 times the mass of the Earth. There are 67 known satellites of Jupiter. Saturn. Saturn is at a distance of 9.5 AU from the Sun. It is famous for its rings. The rings around this planet are composed of rocks, gases, and vapors. These rings can be seen through a telescope. There are 62 known satellites of Saturn. The density of Saturn is so low that it can float on water. Uranus and Neptune. These are the outermost planets of the solar system. They can be seen only with the help of large telescopes. Like Venus, Uranus also rotates from east to west. The most remarkable feature of Uranus is that it has highly tilted rotational axis. There are 27 known satellites of Uranus. Neptune is at a distance of 30 AU from the Sun. There are 14 known satellites of Neptune. This is the farthest planet from the Sun. The Moon. An object revolving around a celestial body is called moon or satellite. All planets except Mercury and Venus have natural satellites or moons revolving around them. About 130 planetary moons are known so far. Some of them are so small that they were discovered only when spacecraft flew past them. A few moons are almost as large as planets. The larger planets have more moons compared to smaller planets. Why there are phases of the Moon? The Moon shows some time for the periods of rotation on its axis and revolution around the Earth. Due to this, only one surface of the Moon is visible from the Earth. The Moon does not have its own light. Rather, it reflects the sunlight. So, the sunlight portion of the Moon is visible to us. When the Moon, the Earth and the Sun are in a straight line and the Earth is between the other two, we are able to see the full Moon. On the other hand, when the Moon is in between the Earth and the Sun, we are able to see the new Moon. That is, the whole surface of the Moon appears in dark. Asteroid belt. The asteroid belt is present between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. It is occupied by numerous irregularly shaped bodies called asteroids or minor planets. This belt extends between 2.3 and 3.3 AU from the Sun. Asteroids are made up of rocks, metallic minerals, and some ice. They are remnants of formation of the solar system. Comet. A comet is a celestial body which revolves around the Sun in a highly elliptical path. When a comet passes from near the Earth, it becomes visible to us. Halley's Comet and Hale-Bopp are some of the famous comets. Halley's Comet appears after every 76 years. It appeared last time in 1986 and is expected to appear again in 2062. Meteor and meteorites. Meteor is a piece of rock from space that produces a bright light as it travels through the atmosphere. When a small object from the space reaches the atmosphere of the Earth, it enters at a very high speed. The high speed creates so much friction that the object burns off before reaching the Earth. Some objects are called meteors. They are visible as shooting stars in the night sky. Sometimes, an object can be too big to be completely destroyed by burning. Such objects reach the surface of the Earth and are called meteorites. A meteorite can cause huge damage to the Earth, like destroying a huge population of living organisms. Artificial satellites. The man-made satellites are called artificial satellites. Artificial satellites are launched by rockets, which are also called launch vehicles. Rockets work on the principle of Newton's third law of motion. Rockets use a special type of fuel called a propellant. These satellites are made for various purposes like remote sensing, telecommunication, defense, etc. Data from the satellites is utilized by meteorologists to make predictions about weather. Communication satellites help in working of mobile phones, television, etc. Global Positioning System (GPS) works because of these satellites. Some satellites launched by India include the Aryabhat, Bhaskar, Apple, Rohini, INSAT 1A and INSAT 1D. The rocket used by India to launch geostationary satellites is called the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, or GSLV in short. Phases of the Moon. The shape of the Moon is not same every night. This is because the Sun lights up different parts of the Moon as it circles round the Earth, and we can only see the light side of the Moon. The shapes of the bright part of the Moon as seen from the Earth are known as phases of the Moon. New Moon. On the new moon day, no moon is visible in the sky. Waxing crescent. Within a few days of the new moon, the moon appears like a crescent. This is called the waxing crescent. First quarter. Within about a week from the new moon day, the moon appears as a semicircle. This is called the first quarter moon. Waxing gibbous. Within about 10 days from the new moon day, the moon appears as a circle with some portion cut off. This is called the waxing gibbous moon. Full moon. Within about 15 days from the new moon day, the moon appears as a complete circle. This is called the full moon. Waning phase. The waning phase of the moon is followed by the waning phase. During this phase, the full moon reduces in size and goes through the waning gibbous, second quarter and waning crescent phases. Within about 29 days from the new moon day, the next lunar month begins with the next new moon.